Hello friends, welcome back to Java programming. Now in last sessions we'll be discussing about how the encapsulation works, right? We're discussing about features of OOP. OOP stands for Object Oriented Programming, and there we discuss the basic concept encapsulation. Encapsulation means wrapping of data and functions together in one container, that is class, right? So in this manner we can able to provide the data security, because the data which is wrapped inside class is a private data and nobody can able to access that data except object, and that too that object also don't have direct accession. It has to access through the public methods. Hence this is the limitation of your structured and procedure programming, that data was insecure will be overcome in case of your OOP over there. Now the next feature what we are going to discuss about, that is called as inheritance. Now inheritance means like setting a relationship between exist and current class, right? It means it provides you the feature called as reusability. Means already exist code, you can reuse it in the current class, and that is reusability of that. Means if you are having any class which in the library, then termed as a base class, you do one thing, you create a derived class and extend it from base, right? Means now derived class have a relationship with the base, that the properties and methods what class consists? Properties and methods. Properties and methods belongs to the base class will be extended to derived one. Both the class are individual and separate, but now because of extension, the properties of base class will be derived in the will be inherited in the derived class. So the object of derive will get the rights to access and process, right? Data belongs to base class, right? The object of derive means like object of derive can very well, as I said, this base and derived class, these two classes are individual classes. If you create the object of base and give a call to the methods, then you can access and process the properties belong to base. If you create the object of derive and it will get the rights to access and process the data belongs to derive. But now because of the inheritance, right, the object of derive is an exist class and this is the current class. So now objective is not to create the object of base one, because it was exist one which we already used probably or already created in the prior projects. In the current project there is no need to create the object of the base, because it's an older one. Now we have a derived class having its own properties and methods, but some of the properties you want to reuse which are defined in the base. Some of the properties you want to reuse which are defined in the base. In such situations, why don't you derive a class from the base class and then create the object of derive. So object of derive can very well refer the properties and methods belong to itself, but at the same time, because of derivation, it will get the rights to access and process the data belong to the base class also. In this way it will provides you the reusability. Okay, now let us discuss this by some examples. Okay, I am writing a code for explaining inheritance. Demo inheritance. Let's say I am having a import java.lang.star import java.util.star. I am having class A. I am going to define as a base class, right? Now this base class have a private data A, having a constructor, right, and this dot A equals to A, and having a method public int get A. Taking this dot A, right, and this is about the base class. I am having another class here, end of A class. I am having class B, but class B is extension of A, means like it is in the relationship with A, so the properties belong to A can be accessible to the B. Now B having its own private data as well as having its own constructor. Right, having its own constructor, and then what it will do, whenever you call the constructor of a derive, it get the two extra arguments, and one argument it will pass on to the base, call to base class constructor, right, and then this dot B equals to B, right, and then you have a public string toString method. Now here toString method actually belongs to the object class, so whenever you want to print the copy of an object directly, you have to override this toString method, right? This is called as overriding. I will explain you about the overriding. Overrided toString method, right? So here it will, what it will do, it will return the A, means actually it will give a call to the get A method, plus B, the actually it can, as it is the object of a B, so it can very well its own refer to its own properties in the toString method, right? And this is end of B, right? Let us understand this again. I am having a class A, class A having its own private data, and as this is means like, though we are going to implement inheritance, but base and derived, these are the two individual classes. So A class having its own constructor, it will take the local value and assign to the private data. Then it have a get A method which will return the value of the private data. Now this is just a property of a base class. I am just demonstrating inheritance, right? Now I am having a B class, and which is extension of a P having its own private data. Now try to understand the point that as we are implementing inheritance, we are not going to create an object of A, right? Because as I said, it's an exist class, it's an older class, which may be right now I am writing both the classes, base class and derived class, but in reality your base class will be the exist class, might be available in the package which you deployed in the prior projects. So now means like you are writing a current class, right? Current class having its own properties and behaviors, but some of the methods and some of the features which you already written, which you already have in the prior classes, that you need to reuse in the current class. So hence inheritance, right? So you extend your derived class from the base class, and now what actually, as you are not creating the object of base, so it will only constructor will get a call only at the time of object creations, and you are not creating the object of A. Hence there is no call to the constructor, and if there is no call to the constructor, means the private data belongs to base class will not be initialized. Hence it is of no use over there. That's why the arrangement is that as you are creating the as you are extending your base class to the derived class, why not you have why not the derived class constructor have extra arguments? Why not derived class constructor have extra argument? Here in this case, as you are not creating the object of A, the constructor will not give a call to A, but then the question arises how to initialize the private data belongs to base class. So in such situations, what we are going to do, we will create the object of we will create the we'll in the constructor of the derive, we'll take the extra argument, and there is a keyword called as super. There is a keyword called as super. Means like whenever you create the object of B, it will pass on with the two extra arguments. One argument will be passed on to the super class. Now what is the super class of B? Super class of B is A. So it gives a call to the constructor of base class. So the local data A will be passed on to the constructor of the base class, and the properties get initialized, right? And here in this case, the extra argument B will be initialized to B. And now here I am going to demonstrate about the overridden toString method. Means like just try and understand, whenever you create the object ABCD equal to new ABC, it will create the it will give a call to the constructor and initialize the property. But like if you want to print the object, a copy of an object, if you want to print a copy of an object, let's say if you want to print the D, provided D is an object of a derived class, then D cannot be printed directly because D is an object. It's a ABC. Let's just understand that like ABC is a class and D is an object. ABCD equal to new ABC 10,20. Now constructor will gets a call, and 10,20 will be passed on as an argument to it, and in this way the copy of B will get generated. But now can you able to print system.out.println? Can you able to print the copy of D directly? No, because what is D? D is not an integer, D is not a float, D is not a string, D is not a variable of basic data type. D is an object, and system.out.println requires a string as an argument. System.out.println requires a string as an argument. So if you try to print the copy of object directly, it will give you the garbage value, or no value will be printed. In such situations, in the ABC class, if you override the toString method, in case of Java, and try and understand one point, that there is class is also a class and there is object is also a class. So by default, whatever the classes you are creating, by default it will be get extended from the class, and at the same time whatever the objects you will be generating, it will be get extended from the object. So there is a toString method, actually toString method provided by object class. So to print the copy of any object, it will give a call to its own local toString methods. But actually if you want to print a copy of your own, so you need to override means the copy of or the prototype of the method given by the base class, and you are overriding it, you are redefining it. So here in this case, public string toString is a method given. So I write a method, means like to convert that entire copy into the string. I just write a getA method, I give a call to the getA method, and then this dot b. Why getA method? Because getA method is a method belongs to base class, and you are referring from the derived. You can because of the inheritance, and then this dot b is like accessing the local private data, right? So in this manner, it will create the string and print the copy of A and B. Hope you understand this, right? Okay. Let us go to main now. right? Let us, like, we have a test class and public static void main. Here what I'm going to do, we need to create the object of b obj equals to new b. We are creating the object of b and pass on 10, 20 as an argument. As you know, whenever you create the object of b, the call goes to the constructor of the b, right? And the 10, 20 will be passed on. Now this 10 data will be passed on to the constructor of the base, and in this manner the property of base will be initialized by 10 and 20 will be initialized to the property to the derived class. And here in this manner, if you print system dot out dot println, right, the copy of b will be, if you try to directly refer to the obj, if you try to print the copy of obj, so it will give a call to its local toString method, and then the copy of a will be printed and the copy of b will be printed, right? So this is the way how we can able to establish the inheritance, at the same times how to give a call to the constructor of the base from the constructor of a derived, and then how to override the toString methods that we demonstrate. And then let's test this code. Save it somewhere in the test class. Right, and then go to the CMD, Java test, Java test.java, and Java test. What the result you will get? Copy of b, a is 10 and b is 20, right? So but the actually you create the object of only b, right? And this b, the private data 10 actually pass on to the a, right? And 20 will be initialized to its own. And whenever you print a copy of an object, this is the object of a b, right? But till then you can, means like, what is inheritance? Inheritance means by creating the object of derived, you can refer, you can access the properties of base as its own, right? So here in this case, 10 will be passed on to the property of a base, and we can even able to refer to the properties and access and process the properties belong to the base to the derived one. In this way we can prove the inheritance. Now let us understand this, how we can use this inheritance example in NetBeans. What I will do, I'll add a base class in my package, right, straight away. Yesterday or last sessions we already have a discussions how to create the source package and how to work on the NetBeans. So I'll be directly constructing the source package in base class in the source package folder, my package. My package is my credit folder file over there. Let us say I am having a class by the name of ABC. I am having a class by the name of ABC, and it is available in the package mypkg. So ABC class will be added. This I am going to term as a base class, right? So base class having its own private data, maybe int a comma b comma c, and then I'm going to define a constructor over here, int a comma int b comma int c, and then I need to initialize this dot a equals to a, this dot b equals to b, and this dot c equals to c. And then I'm going to develop a method public int get a to return the value of a, and I am having the method to return the value of D. That method is a get D, and then I am having another method get C, which return the value of C. Now what I did up till now, that in the source package I am having my own package by the name of mypkg. Inside that I constructed a class called as ABC, which is having its local private data and the consider to initialize that private data, and the local methods get A, get B, get C to return that private data. That's it. This is the definition of my base class. Then I'll be in the demo first project, I'll be adding a new class, my derived class, right? And my derived class name is a demo inherit, is a name of it, right? Demo inherit is the name of it, and then in the demo inherit I need to import the package java.lang.star, import java.util.star, and I'm going to import my package dot, what is the class we constructed, ABC, right? So now this ABC class, which I termed as a base class, is accessible to the my package. Now I am in the demo init, right? I am having a property called as D, right? Now I want to prove the expression D equals to A plus B plus C, that is the cumulative properties of a base should be assigned to derived one, but I yet not public class demo init extends, what is that base class, ABC. Public class, I set up relationships, public class demo inherit extends ABC. What is ABC? ABC is a base class which is in the package called as mypkg, right? Now I am having a D as a private data, then I am going to define the constructor of a derived one. So public demo inherit. Now as I am not going to create the object of ABC, I need to initialize the private data belongs to base. The constructor of derived should have an extra argument. Let's say int A, int B, int C, right? And you give a call to the super, pass on this ABC as an argument, right? And what is the super class of demo inherit? The ABC class over there, right? Consider ABC in class cannot be applied to the given type, no arguments. Let us select demo inherit ABC and then super ABC. We'll discuss that. And then D equals to get A plus get B plus get C. Now get A, get B, get C, these are the methods belongs to your extended ABC class, right? And then let us see, we have ABC class in the my package and public ABC, perfect. Now we are in the demo inherit class, and then you override the toString method, public string to string, and return the value of A which belongs to the base class, this dot A. The value of B belongs to the base class, this dot, no, this is not not this dot, because this is not the property belong to the derived class. Get B, get C, get C, and the D. Actually, D is a local property, so I can use it as a this dot D and semicolon. Now we'll develop a main method. Public static void main and array of string, and here I'll create the object of demo init dm equals to new demo init and pass on 10, 20, 30 as an argument. So now it gives a call to the parameterized constructor of the demo init, right, and pass on these arguments, and then super constructor ABC in class ABC cannot be applied to given type required, no arguments found until now. Okay, fine. So we'll develop a default constructor as well over here. Do nothing constructor, and now we'll back to the now back to the derived one over here. Now let us check the code again. I'm having a base class which got the private 3 private data, default constructor, parameterized constructor, and the 3 methods to get that private data belong to it. I'm having a in the separate package. I'm having a I'm importing that my package base class, and then I'm having a local private data, and I'm having a constructor of it. Constructor of a derived have extra arguments which will be passed on to the base class constructor, and here in this case we are referring to all the methods. I'm going to prove the point that the private data belong to derived equal to cumulative copy of the base, and here I am overriding the twisting method, and then in the main I created the object of inherit and pass on the arguments. In this way I can initialize the private data belong to the base, right, and then in the constructor of the derived itself I'm initializing the property belong to the derived also. Now then system dot out dot println, right, the copy of D. If I print the copy of dn over here, so it gives a call to its local toString methods, and the properties belong to A, B, C, and the D will be printed over there, right? Let us check it out. Means like what the answer I am expecting. A is 10, B is 20, and C is 30. These are the properties belong to the base class, and D has to be initialized by the 30 plus 20, 50 plus 10, 60, right? So let us run this code. Okay, run this file. It will take some time to load. Okay, now here it is, right? The answer is the copy of dm equals to A is 20, B is 20, A is 10, B is 20, and C is 30, and D is 60 over there. In this manner, we successfully able to demonstrate the inheritance, because your ABC class is in the different package, and demo inherit in the different package. We import that class, establish a relationship between the base and the derived, and by taking extra argument to the constructor of a derived, we pass on this by using super keyword. What is super keyword? It's a call to the base class constructor, because in case of inheritance you are not going to create the object of the base, because it's a pre-exist class in the exist package. So we have to import that package and make it a class accessible, and then by creating the object of derived and by taking extra argument to the parameters of the derived, we pass it on to the constructor of a base, and then by making the methods accessible, we perform the inheritance. So here we need to prove the point that inheritance means reusability. Reusability means you have an exist class, right, which is having private data constructor methods. Now you create the derived class, extend it from the base, establish the relationships, that is extensions. Now obviously your base class is an individual class and derived class is an individual class. So but because of the inheritance, the object of the derived can very well refer to its own properties. At the same time, the properties belong to the base, right? So in this manner, you need to create the object of a derived, and then by getting the object of a derived, extra arguments what you require to initialize to the base class, that you need to pass it on, and then make it accessible at all the properties in the derived, and the object of derived can able to manipulate its own properties and behaviors methods, as well as the properties belong to the base also. This is what the inheritance. Hope you understand everything well. I will be mailing you the assignment list over there. Thank you.